Okay, welcome back to the YouTube. I'm going to tell you a story about the time that I got robbed in Barcelona and how I potentially could have lost my life. So, flew to Barcelona some months ago, and I ended up getting a really nice Airbnb. And for the first day that we were there, we were riding bikes. We had some bikes out, rode all around the city. One of the most amazing days, absolutely beautiful. Weather was scorching, tops were off, and yeah, we're just cruising around the city, getting a good feel for it, eating some nice food. And after we'd finished that, got a shower, got ready to go out, and me and my friend were drinking rum at the time. And we got a few drinks, got a little bit loose, having a crack with the boys, and we headed off down into Barcelona, the main strip, the Ramblers. And lo and behold, went to a few bars outside, went for a few drinks, had a good time. Lo and behold, we ended up going to a free like festival with house music. There were quite a lot of people there, filled the full square actually. And me being drunk at the time, and me being a bit silly, I ended up getting into the middle of the crowd, and there was a guy with a big weed bag offering it and saying, does anyone want to smoke it? So, me having a few drinks, I said, do you know what it is? Go on mate, I will smoke that joint with you. And he all had a little bit left, so I ended up smoking this joint with him, right? And I craved more, I wanted more, so I ended up buying some weed off him. And I realised I didn't have any rolling paper, I didn't have anything to be able to make a joint with. So I ended up giving the bag back to him and said, look buddy, I trust you, you can roll a joint, no problem. So the music's kicking and everything's going well, and I ended up smoking 2 or 3 joints with this guy in the space of half an hour. And I cannot tell you how delirious I was after that second joint. I think it was 3 joints actually. But anyway, long story short, what happened was, I looked to my left after I'd had this joint, and I saw 2 what looked like Spanish guys, Colombian guys, I don't know what ethnicity they were, with caps on, dipping their joint in a white powder. Now, traditionally, when you smoke weed, you don't dip it in white powder, you just smoke the weed. So when I saw that, my heart instantly sank in my stomach, because these guys were talking to each other. So the first thing I thought was, these guys have spiked me with God knows what, whether it was PCP, cocaine, crack, I don't know what it was, but I instantly felt a deep pit of regret. Like, I shouldn't be in this spot right now, and why have I just smoked so much, and why am I even doing this? And I was with a friend at the time, and I looked at my friend who was having a great time. He didn't do it, just me. And I said to him, we need to get out of here. I'm not feeling too good. So he agreed, he said, no problem. And now I think back to it, I think it was a setup. Because as I was leaving the venue, which were an outside space, a big square full of people, it was quite dark, but obviously the lights from the stage lit the place up. There were alleyways coming off to the left and right, a few security, but anyone could have come and gone. Could have been any bad-minded people in there. So as I'm walking out, I'm not feeling too good about myself, to be honest with you. I'm feeling a bit paranoid, as you would. I'm feeling a little bit delirious from the alcohol. And to be honest with you, after seeing what I saw with the guys to the side of me, I genuinely thought that these guys were out to spite me and do me harm. So I wanted to get out of there quick. So we left the square, and we started walking towards this little smaller street. It was still quite a wide street. It wasn't like a back alley or like that, but it was a street. There were doors either side, shops that were shut. Anyway, we're walking down. We must have got about 50 yards, and I felt a tap on the shoulder. Turned round. This guy went to shake my hand, and I had a chain, and I was wearing a polo with a second button up, so it wasn't easy. Buff, ripped the chain straight off, ran, just pelted it down the road, and as he got further and further away, he's jumping with joy. He's ecstatic with it, and I think he was expecting me to chase him. But I could hardly walk properly, never mind run. So I ended up looking at my friend, I went, wow, fair play, nice one. I'm definitely not chasing him because I've got no idea where this guy's going to lead me. So I'm walking and I'm in a state of shock, but also paranoia still. And I'm walking, I'm thinking to myself, I need to get out of it, it's not good. And I can see this guy, and he's laughing, he thinks he's won the jackpot. Lo and behold, it were a cheap, shitty chain. Anyway, as he's running down, I can feel like 2 or 3 other guys around me at this point. And I'm feeling like these guys are trying to do me harm, trying to rob me. So his friend had come round the side and he went, hey man, how you doing, you okay? Which went to shake my hand again, but I didn't fall for it. And as he went to extend his arm out, he tried to grab my pocket where my phone was and tried to rip the phone out of the pocket. I ended up pushing him. And when I've pushed him, he's gone back and his other friends around me have started getting a little bit more aggressive at this point. And in the state I was in, I genuinely thought that I was going to get stabbed in the neck that night. The only thing that was running through my head was, these guys are going to stab me to death, or they're going to try and rob me and beat the fucking shit out of me. Alright? And I like to think of myself as someone who can defend himself, but the point of the story is, when you drink and when you smoke and you're in a place that's not very familiar and you're not clued up around the local area, you can become very delirious and very easily targeted. And I ended up managed to get away from these guys, but it taught me a valuable lesson, which is be very aware of the people that are around you in places that you're not familiar with and who you do business with, because you can never know what people's intentions are. Have a loving heart and be trustworthy of people, but please understand your surroundings and don't put yourself in positions like that, because that were a truly humbling moment for me, and I'm thankful that I didn't get stabbed and I didn't get hurt, but it could have ended much more seriously. So I remember walking through Barcelona, my phone was freezing, it was the first night, I couldn't hardly get signal, then couldn't get back to the hotel. It ended up taking me 2 hours to get back. I'd lost my friend, got home, I was a sweaty mess, and I never wanted to be home in a hotel and be as safe as I did that night. So a little story about Barcelona: if you go, be careful, there's many pickpocketers, and it's quite a dangerous spot at night time. So yeah, and if you're going to drink and smoke, don't let people put powder in on your joint, because you never know where it might be. But yeah, stopping drinking was one of the best things for me. I'm not going to go a big lecture, but it's managed to allow me to stop putting myself in silly situations like that and get really focused on building something special. So if you ever put yourself in a silly predicament like that, I'd like to know, please share it. But we learn, we grow, and we develop, and we learn from the mistakes and we don't do them again, and I hope you do too. So boom, thought I'd tell you a little story instead of just trying to motivate you all the time. And I'm no better or no worse than any people. I've made mistakes and I like to be transparent with that. But yeah, boys, hit the gym, be your fucking best self, and don't buy weed off random strangers at a festival because you haven't got a clue what's in it. Boom, have a good one.